Hello everyone. So today I want to show you guys how to build a API with the Jets Ruby Serverless Framework. And I'm going to just go pretty much through this blog article we have right here. It's entitled Building API with the Jets Ruby Serverless Framework. And it provides pretty much all the commands we need. And I'll just jump right through it, too, I guess. So here's the first command, Jets new demo mode API. And I want to cover a couple things here. So there's a mode option with Jets. There's actually the default mode is HTML. There's an API mode, which we're going to use today, and there's a job mode, which builds a really, really lightweight skeleton project for a Jets project. It's like very useful for running like a cron job or something like that. But we're going to use API today because that's what I said we're going to build. So there it goes, Jets new demo mode API. So it generated a starter project for us. That's what that command does. Let's see. And then it gives us instructions on what to do next. So I'm just going to literally follow these instructions. CD demo, I'm going to actually generate a scaffold real quick. So generate this scaffold here. So that's Jets generate scaffold post is the model, and then I'm just use one column title and string right there. So that pretty much generates a central or API. At this point, all we have to do is migrate. So Jets db create db migrate. Okay. And I think we're ready to go ahead and start the server. So I'm running this off of Cloud9, so I'm going to have to bind it to this just so I can access it. And then I can go to the server now. That's, I think it's tongue.demo. Yep, there it goes. That should load. There, that loads the home page. But that, if I go to post, because I generate a post, that should load empty array there. So there's the empty array. So we don't have data in there yet. Let's see, I'm going to go ahead and create another terminal. I'm going to start moving these things around slightly. So the terminal running the servers down there. And let's see, what else am I supposed to be doing here? So I CD in there, I generate a scaffold, I migrate it. Oh, I should seed it with some data. So let's go ahead and grab this guy and go ahead and seed it with some data. So let's start going to the project a little bit here. And db, and then you just create a new file, seed.rb. And then we're seeding some data. So this is a little loop, runs 3 times, it creates the 3 posts, and then it just spits out seeding data completed, just so I know that it completed successfully. CD demo here again. Jets db seed is the command to seed the data. So that should have seeded some data. It says it's completed. So let's go find out if that we can seed the data now. So there is some, hopefully there's some data right there. Yeah, so that's cool. Let's see, there's another way of testing. I'm showing you here a Jets console, and then I'm just gonna update a post here. So why don't we just do that really quickly for demonstrative purposes. Jets console, and that'll be post.first, maybe. Post.title equals my title, p.save. So that should update the data that way too. So let's go ahead and refresh that. That updated the title right here. That's updated. So the next way to test here is, well, we tested via the server already, so I'm kind of moving out of order here, which is hopefully fine. And then let's see, check out the API. We already did that. We could check via curl. So this is actually pretty useful. I use curl or Postman. I'm going to use curl for this tutorial. But both very good ways to kind of test APIs because there's no HTML interface. There's just an API that you have to test against. So let's run through some of these commands. Let's exit out of IRB first. Then run that cat command, which is just spitting out, using a hero doc to create some JSON data. And so you could cat it, you could pipe it through JQ to make it look a little bit prettier. So there's some JSON data that we need to send to this API. And, let's explore the API a little bit because we generate a bunch of this stuff, but we actually haven't explored it. That might be useful for you guys here. So there's the API real quickly that we've generated. So what we're going to do is we're going to actually send some data to this create endpoint. And the reason we know is going to go to that create endpoint is because the route file that was generated as part of the scaffold is right here. Resources post. So, and then you can actually see the routes. Let me kind of move these things around a little bit. You can see the routes via Jets routes. That's a pretty handy command too. So Jets routes was going to show you some routes that you can send it to. So anyway, we're going to go ahead and grab this curl command now and run it. This, yeah, that should be working locally. Okay, and then there's the data file here. You have to remember this @ sign when you're using a data file. And this data file is just this file here. So when I run that, I'm going to throw an echo at the end because I like the new line. And see, with this I option here, it shows you all the kind of the headers, which is pretty useful. Then this X option, you're specifying the HTTP verb that you're using to send to the RESTful API. And then here's the URL endpoint that you're hitting, and then here's the header. So you can send multiple headers. We just have to send content type application/JSON because it's a JSON API, and then here's the data. So this is like the body that you're sending to the as part of the post request there. And then the response you get back, you get the headers, but you also get the actually the response here in JSON form. You create a new record, and if we refresh once again, we should be able to see it. So should we see a fourth item right there? So that's cool. That's all working. Curl output. So now we're pretty much ready to deploy. So to deploy, you have to do a couple things first. You do have to set up RDS database. I have given a link exactly how to do that here from the AWS docs. It takes some time to go through this, but it's pretty straightforward. But once you click that create button on creating a RDS database, it takes about 5 minutes. But it just takes some time to read through this. For the sake of this tour, I'm going to focus on just the API portion. But you do need to create that RDS database once it's up, and you need a database that's just available. So anywhere you have a database that's available, you can use. Okay, so after we create that database, what we're going to do is we're going to set up a .env.development.remote. So that's an env file. So env files are kind of explain this documentation right here under docs, env files. And what they are just ways to specify environmental variables via files. And then Jets actually uses different types of env files and kind of can merge everything together for you. And all the information on that is right here. Okay, so let's go ahead and create that env file. And to prepare for this, I've actually created an env file already to be efficient with everyone's time. So let me just drag this guy in here, and I'm actually show you the env file so you know what the format looks like. And I'm going to be throwing away this database after this tutorial video. So this is I created it just for this demo. Okay, so there's the username there, not great username, and there's a password, not so bad of a password, and there's the host name here. One way you could kind of test for connectivity to a database is, let me kind of open up a new terminal there, is you could just use MySQL client. So let me just show you how to do that. Okay, and then this guy right here, -H for host, there, I'm connected to it. So that's kind of one way to test database connectivity. So I know the database, we're cool there. Let's see, and we're supposed to go modify that, and then we're supposed to create and migrate. I'm glad I read this because I would have forgotten that. But anyway, so there's this Jets env remote flag, which tells basically Jets also use the environmental variables from this right now. Usually the remote env file is only used on the Lambda functions when you deployed it remotely. But we can actually override that and then kind of say, okay, use it locally here too. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go here and run that command, and that should create the database and migrate it, which we need to do. So there we go. It created the database and migrated it. And then we're ready to deploy. That's it. That's pretty much all we need. Jets deploy now. So I'm going to go ahead and run that Jets deploy. And what this Jets deploy does is pretty much bundles up and packages all your code and creates the zip file needed as Lambda function, and then it deploys it to AWS Lambda. I think it actually does some pre-warm in the end here too. So it does a couple things. It does it via CloudFormation stack, and this is going to take a couple minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and pause the video so you guys don't have to wait through this, and then we'll continue. Okay, so that deploy completed, and at the end of the deploy, what it does is it spits out an API gateway endpoint URL, and we just actually grab it and go to visit the page. So there's the Splash homepage. That's just the default homepage there. And then we go to post. That should show empty array, just like we did locally. So the same thing we have to do. We have to seed the data. We have to create some records. So let's just actually seed the data. Let's go up a couple bit here. DB seed. So I'm going to seed data just to get some data in there. Okay, and refresh. There's some data now. And I can actually do the same thing with the curl command. So why don't we just kind of curl it too? Where's that curl command here? Somewhere here I had a curl. There it is. There's the curl command, except I need to use this URL this time. So let me grab this URL and create some data with the same data file for now. And there we go. So that created another record remotely on AWS Lambda. So I think that's it. Let me check just in case. So it's showing some screenshots about where the Lambda functions are and the API resources are. So I guess I should show you that. Let's see. That's where we go there. And then we go AWS console. There. And we go to Lambda. So let's go to Lambda. And there are the Lambda functions that were created with that deployment. Let's go to API Gateway. I think that's the icon for API Gateway. And here is the API gateway resources we just created. All this, it's like this maps the Lambda functions. You click on this and you can see it maps the Lambda functions. Okay, so we did that. We did testing. Oh, extra environments. So extra environments are pretty cool. I guess I'll just kind of do it real quickly here because extra environments. What is this concept? Because everything is codified. I'm just gonna kind of start this. Because everything is codified in env extra. Just do 2. Because everything is codified at this point, we can pretty much essentially create more environments just with one environmental flag. And what that does is just actually adds like a -2 at the end. You could actually, you don't have to use a number. You can use anything here. But I usually use a number. And then because of that, it basically namespaces in a new environment and it provisions the entire new environment, new API gateway, separate API gate resources, separate Lambda functions. Everything is completely separate there. And the cool thing about AWS Lambda and API Gateway is because it's it's priced on a usage basis. And if you're only you're using it for development, it's essentially going to fit within the free tier. It's not going to cost much money at all. And so that's what that's all about. It's kind of deploying right now. I guess I'll pause the video again to see. I'll let it finish deploying again, and then we'll come right back. So that extra environment finished deploying. This is actually a new endpoint right here. I'm opening up so you can see it. It's actually connected to the same database. It's designed that way. You can override that, obviously, and all that. But anyway, so there is. There's 2 separate endpoints here. Let's go back to API Gateway. Let's refresh this guy, and we're going to see actually 2 separate API Gateway resources here. And then you can see the same thing on Lambda function on the Lambda side. So here's the Lambda function. You can kind of sort here, and you can see. Okay, let's see what else. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So it's pretty easy, quick to hopefully you find to get started at building an API on serverless and with Ruby here and with the Jets framework. Hopefully you guys found this video helpful. If you guys enjoy content like this, be sure to give it a thumbs up. It encourages more content like this and share with your friends. It helps get the word out. And if you can, please, I really appreciate if you go to let's see, github.com/tongaroo/jets there. And then give it a star. That really helps spread the word. So I really would appreciate if you do that. All right. I think that is it. All right, guys. Hopefully you guys have a good one. Cheers.